Welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right into something that has the potential to fundamentally rewire how you approach your day-to-day life. If you've ever felt completely overwhelmed by the sheer concept of self-improvement, well, you're definitely in the right place. Today, we're breaking down a brilliant concept from habit expert James Clear. We're going to explore how simplifying your approach, specifically by focusing on what he calls the Keystone habit, can effortlessly transform pretty much everything else.
So with so many things to improve, how do you decide where to start? It's a genuine dilemma, isn't it? We get so incredibly overloaded by the sheer volume of things we want to fix. We want to lock down our nutrition, optimize our sleep, maximize our focus, and we usually try to tackle all of it at exactly the same time. The result? Total exhaustion, and honestly, we end up right back where we started. When you have a dozen targets, it's almost impossible to figure out where to actually aim your energy.
But here's the secret. The answer isn't doing more. It's actually about aggressively doing less. As our source material points out, the real solution lies in simplicity and eliminating choices. You want to clear the deck so you can focus only on the absolute best use of your time. Instead of spreading your energy thin across 10 different goals, you funnel all of it into one strategic area.
Okay, let's dive into Section 1, Defining the Keystone Habit. This right here is the core concept that completely solves that overload problem.
A keystone habit is basically a routine or ritual that ripples into the rest of your life, creating a cascade of good behavior. I want you to really focus on two key words here, ripple and cascade. This isn't about white-knuckling your way through a giant checklist of chores. It's an automatic mechanism. When you drop this one habit into the pond of your day, the waves naturally spread outward, pushing good behaviors into places you weren't even actively trying to improve.
Let's move to Section 2, the workout ripple effect, to see how this cascade actually builds and plays out in real life with James Clear's personal routine.
Let's map this out on a timeline. Clear's Keystone habit is working out. He hits the gym to get the physical benefits of exercise, right? But look at what happens next, automatically. Point 1, for about an hour after the workout, he gets this incredible high-focus period. Point 2, fast forward to that night. Because he's physically exhausted himself, he sleeps significantly better and deeper. And point 3, because of that great sleep, he wakes up the next morning with far better energy, which naturally means he focuses better the next day too. It's wild. One single action triggers a three-part domino effect.
What's really fascinating here is how this cascade sneaks into totally unrelated areas, like nutrition. When Clear's in a season of working out, he just naturally finds himself eating better. Why? Subconsciously, he just doesn't want to waste the effort he put in at the gym. Conversely, when he's not working out, his diet tends to suffer. His behavior changes naturally without any forced discipline or meal prep anxiety. That single keystone habit acts as an invisible anchor for his entire diet.
The crucial point is captured perfectly in his own words. He says, "At no point was I trying to build better nutrition habits or better focus or better sleep habits or improved energy." He wasn't even trying. All of those massive life improvements, the focus, the sleep, the diet, were completely unforced side effects. They were just the natural result of one single keystone habit.
Now you might be wondering, okay, that's great for fitness, but what about other fields? Let's broaden our view with Section 3, Daily Rituals for Success.
10 to 20. Believe it or not, that is the magic number of minutes that many top CEOs dedicate to their own specific keystone habit. Let's compare two totally different worlds side by side. For high-powered CEOs, that 10 to 20 minutes is often spent on daily meditation. If they lock in that brief window of mindfulness, they report that the entire rest of their chaotic day just flows more smoothly. Now compare that to the artist's ritual. In the fantastic book Daily Rituals, which studies famous artists and scientists, there's a recurring theme, the daily walk. Taking a walk isn't just about stretching their legs, it's the core routine that spurs their creative inspiration and grounds their day. Two vastly different paths, achieving the exact same kind of cascading success.
And this beautifully illustrates everything we've covered today. We have James Clear using a workout to effortlessly improve his sleep, focus, and nutrition. We have CEOs using meditation to bring smooth flow to high-stress environments. And we've got world-famous artists and scientists using a simple daily walk to generate routine and endless creative inspiration. The specific habit changes depending on the person, but the architecture of that ripple effect, it's exactly the same.
Which brings us to this powerful takeaway. If you just do this one behavior, you can trust that it will ripple into other areas of your personal and professional life. Trusting the ripple effect is the ultimate antidote to self-improvement burnout. You don't have to fix everything today. You just have to fiercely protect your one keystone behavior and let human nature handle the rest.
So I want to leave you with a direct challenge. Stop trying to overhaul your entire life all at once. Look at your own days, your own struggles, and your own goals. What is the one routine that will create your cascade? Find it, protect it, and watch how it changes absolutely everything else. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I can't wait to explore more fascinating concepts with you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome to today's explainer. So have you ever looked at your life and just thought, man, I need to eat way better, sleep more, focus harder, and exercise regularly? Yeah, we've all been there. But if you're like most of us, trying to tackle all of those self-improvement goals at the exact same time just leaves you feeling, well, completely exhausted. We get totally overloaded by the sheer amount of things we want to fix, and you know what happens? We often end up improving absolutely nothing at all. But today we're going to break down an incredibly powerful concept from James Clear that solves this exact problem. It's called the Keystone habit. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, overcoming habit overload. It is just so incredibly frustrating when you have a dozen different areas of your life that you want to fix all at once, right? It creates this universal struggle, which brings us to the big question. With so many things to improve, how do you actually decide where to start? I mean, this is exactly where the friction happens. This is where the anxiety sets in. When you're staring down a massive list of goals, just picking step 1 feels paralyzing. Honestly, you might actually spend more time stressing about what to improve than doing the actual work. While according to James Clear, the answer to this choice overload relies on extreme simplicity. You literally need to eliminate most of the choices in front of you. You've got to clear away those distractions and focus your energy entirely on the absolute best uses of your time. So instead of juggling 10 different goals, you need to strip everything back and find the one right goal. And let me tell you, there is just a profound sense of relief once you realize you don't have to fix everything today.
Which leads us nicely into Section 2, the Keystone habit.
So the crucial point is this core concept right here, because it elegantly solves that crushing feeling of improvement overload we just talked about. A keystone habit is a routine or ritual that ripples into the rest of your life, creating a cascade of good behavior. Really think deeply about those two words for a second, ripples and cascade. It's like dropping a single stone into a perfectly still pond. This isn't about forcing 10 different habits. It's about doing one specific thing that naturally pushes positive momentum into absolutely everything else you do. Let's move to Section 3, the workout ripple effect, and see how this builds in the real world. We're going to look at James Clear's personal example of this exact habit cascade in action. For him, working out is that keystone habit. Let's walk through this exact chain reaction. Step 1, he works out. He gets the physical benefits, sure, but then step 2 naturally kicks in. He gets a post-workout high that gives him an hour or more of intense laser-like focus. Then, step 3, because he physically exhausted himself at the gym, he sleeps much better that night. Step 4, better sleep means he wakes up the next day with dramatically better energy, which, you guessed it, fuels his focus again. And finally, step 5, he naturally eats better, simply because he feels like he already put in the hard work at the gym and he doesn't want to waste it. Do you see what's happening here? This isn't about willpower at all. It's about momentum. One single action dictates the success of his entire day because the psychological win of the workout naturally fuels the desire to protect that investment. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is just how different these two approaches are. Imagine the immense friction of trying to actively build separate nutrition, focus, sleep, and energy habits all independently. It honestly feels like pushing a massive boulder uphill. It's exhausting just thinking about managing all those different trackers and routines. Contrast that with Clear's approach. At no point was he actively trying to force those better nutrition or sleep routines. Having them all happen is just an automatic side effect, a completely natural result of just doing that one keystone habit of working out. You focus on the lead domino and the rest simply fall on their own.
All right, moving on to Section 4, real-world keystone routines. Let's broaden the lens a bit, because this doesn't just apply to fitness.
And this brilliantly illustrates how the ripple effect applies perfectly to professional and creative fields as well. For example, a very common keystone habit CEOs rely on is just 10 to 20 minutes of daily meditation. And the ripple effect? The rest of their incredibly high-stress day just flows more smoothly. Or take famous artists and scientists. Clear mentions this absolutely fascinating book called Daily Rituals, which looks at the behaviors of historical geniuses. It is literally incredible how many of them shared the exact same keystone habit, a daily walk. Taking that simple daily walk anchored their daily rituals and set the psychological foundation for their creative and scientific breakthroughs. It's like the small win of the walk cleared the mental path for big ideas.
We'll wrap up our explainer today with this really powerful thought from James Clear. He notes perfectly,
If you just do this one behavior, you can trust that it will ripple into other areas of your personal and professional life. It really is that simple, folks. You don't need 20 new habits. You just need the right one. So my final provocative question for you to take away from this is, what is the single behavior you can start tomorrow that will create a massive ripple effect across the rest of your own life? Thank you so much for joining me to explore this concept today, and I really hope this helps you streamline your focus.